Brunali Commander Ceres sneered as the blue planet's defenses crumbled under the overwhelming technological might of his Brunali armada, already savoring the coming slaughter of the primitive humans below. Thousands of sleek Brunali warships blotted out the stars, disgorging an endless swarm of attack drones and dropships to pacify the panic-stricken planet. Intelligence had assured Ceres that the invasion of Sol 3 would be a trivial affair. These pathetic humans were millennia behind the Brunali war machine. Their feeble kinetic weapons and primitive spacecraft posed no real threat. Subduing them would be child's play. As major cities across Earth erupted in flames under merciless bombardment from orbit, Ceres settled back in his command throne, awaiting the inevitable communication from the human leaders begging for mercy. This would be over quickly. On the surface, all seemed lost as alien troops poured from gargantuan transport ships, surging towards shattered population centers with lethal purpose. Yet from the ashes of devastation, the embers of human defiance began to glow. In an underground command bunker, Andrew Reed grimaced as fresh explosions rocked the facility. The battle-hardened Marine Special Forces operative had been urgently recalled from leave when the invasion hit. As bad as things looked, Reed knew humanity wouldn't go down without a hell of a fight. Reports flooded in of human forces around the globe mobilizing to repel the attack. Old rivalries and petty bickering were cast aside as nations united against the common threat. It was do or die now. Reed and his elite unit were tasked with a crucial mission, leading a desperate counterstrike on a Brunali forward operating base in the Rocky Mountains. It was a chance to bloody the aliens' nose and show them the true grit of Earth's defenders. As human and alien forces clashed in brutal close-quarters combat, Reed's Marines gave a masterclass in guerrilla warfare and tenacious resistance. They expertly wielded the mountain terrain, striking from ambush and fading away like ghosts. Improvised traps and salvaged alien tech helped even the odds. Above the dueling armies, Brunali Commander Ceres seethed with barely contained rage. How could his glorious conquest be disrupted by these primitive savages? He had fatally underestimated the depths of human resolve and adaptability. It was a mistake that could cost him dearly. On the teetering brink between defiance and annihilation, mankind prepared to wage an unrelenting defensive war for the very survival of their species. The Brunali had dismissed them as easy prey. Now it was time to show these arrogant aliens the true face of humanity's indomitable warrior spirit. The fight for Earth's future had only just begun. The euphoria of striking back against the Brunali invaders was short-lived for Andrew Reed and his battle-hardened Marines. As reports flooded in from across the globe, the grim reality sank in. Their victory at the forward operating base had only stirred the hornet's nest. Ceres, enraged by the humiliating defeat, was now fully committed to crushing the human resistance once and for all. Reed barely had time to catch his breath before new orders came down. He was being redeployed to the heart of the Rocky Mountains, where a critical human stronghold was under imminent threat. Scientists at the facility were working around the clock to reverse engineer captured Brunali technology, and their research was vital to any hope of long-term survival. As Reed and his team dug into defensive positions around the base, the first signs of the coming onslaught appeared on the horizon. Brunali dropships darkened the sky, disgorging hordes of heavily armed troops. At their head, Commander Ceres himself led the charge, his eyes burning with vengeful fury. The human defenders fought with every ounce of skill and courage they possessed, but the sheer weight of the Brunali assault threatened to overwhelm them. In the chaos of the battle, Reed found himself face-to-face with Ceres, the alien commander's genetically enhanced body towering over him. The two warriors clashed in a brutal hand-to-hand struggle, trading bone-crushing blows. Reed's raw tenacity and training were pitted against Ceres's superhuman strength and speed. Though outmatched physically, Reed fought with relentless drive, landing a vicious strike that opened a gash in Ceres's armor and drew dark blood. But Ceres's retaliation was swift and devastating. A crushing blow sent Reed flying, his body smashing into the rocky ground. As darkness closed in around him, the last thing Reed saw was Ceres standing over him, ready to deliver the killing blow. At that moment, a blinding flash lit up the battlefield, followed by a deafening roar. The human scientists had unleashed their secret weapon, a prototype energy cannon reverse-engineered from Brunali tech. The weapon's beam sliced through the alien ranks, vaporizing soldiers and shattering war machines. Ceres staggered back, his body badly burned by the searing energy. Around him, the Brunali offensive crumbled into chaos as the devastating power of their own technology was turned against them. Reluctantly, Ceres signaled a retreat, his subordinates dragging his injured form from the field. Reed awoke hours later in a makeshift field hospital, his body battered, but his spirit unbroken. Medics informed him of the unlikely victory. The human forces had held the line, and the Brunali had been beaten back, at least for now. But even as cheers echoed through the base, Reed knew this was only the beginning. Ceres had tasted the sting of human defiance, and he would not underestimate them again. The full might of the Brunali Empire would soon descend upon Earth, and the war for humanity's survival had only just begun. As word of the victory spread across the globe, a flicker of hope began to grow in the hearts of the embattled human race. In cities and towns, in the mountains and the deserts, people from all walks of life took up arms, ready to fight and die for their world. The Brunali had come to conquer a helpless primitive species. Instead, they had awoken the sleeping giant of human courage and drive. The stage was set for the final confrontation, a battle that would decide the fate of Earth and all who called it home. The taste of victory from their strike against the Brunali shipyard still lingered as Andrew Reed received his next assignment. High Command wanted Ceres, the Brunali commander who'd led the invasion of Earth. Intel pinpointed Ceres' location to a fortified bunker in the Himalayas. Reed knew capturing him could shatter Brunali morale and turn the tide of the war. Reed's strike team huddled in the belly of a stealth dropship as it skimmed mere meters above jagged Himalayan peaks. The craft's newly reverse-engineered cloaking tech kept them invisible to Brunali scanners. Reed checked his gear one last time, his breath misting in the frigid air. 30 seconds to insertion, the pilot's voice crackled over the comms. The rear hatch opened with a hiss, revealing a dizzying drop to snow-capped mountains below. Reed's team rappelled down to the icy ground, their boots crunching in fresh powder. They moved swiftly through the treacherous terrain, using handheld scanners to avoid Brunali patrols. As they neared the bunker entrance, all hell broke loose. Brunali shock troops swarmed from concealed positions, their energy weapons lighting up the mountainside. Reed's team scattered, taking cover behind ice-encrusted boulders. "Suppressing fire! Move up in pairs!" Reed shouted over the din of battle. His soldiers leapfrogged forward, laying down cover fire as they advanced. Reed lobbed a plasma grenade into a Brunali position, vaporizing 3 alien soldiers in a blinding flash. Inch by bloody inch, they fought their way to the bunker entrance. Reed slapped a breaching charge on the reinforced door, diving clear as it detonated. They stormed inside, engaging in close-quarters combat through winding corridors. Finally, Reed burst into the command center. There stood Ceres, towering and menacing as ever. The Brunali commander's eyes narrowed with recognition and hatred. "You again, human!" Ceres snarled, lunging forward with inhuman speed. Reed barely managed to dodge the first blow, countering with a flurry of strikes. He noticed Ceres favoring his left side, the lingering wound from their previous battle. Reed exploited this weakness mercilessly, hammering at Ceres' injured flank. The two warriors grappled and traded blows in a brutal dance. Reed felt ribs crack under Ceres' powerful strikes, but he pushed through the pain. With a final surge of effort, Reed swept Ceres' legs and pinned the alien commander to the ground. "It's over," Reed growled, slapping restraints on his captive. With Ceres subdued, Reed's team accessed the bunker's computer systems. What they found chilled them to the bone. Contingency orders for an apocalyptic orbital bombardment if the invasion failed. Earth would be reduced to ash. Reed knew they had to act fast. He commandeered a Brunali communications array, broadcasting a message to resistance cells worldwide. "This is Reed. We have Ceres. Prepare for Operation Thunderbolt. Within hours, Reed found himself at the controls of a captured Brunali fighter, leading a ragtag fleet towards the alien battle group over New York's ruins. Human pilots and stolen alien craft swarmed the enemy fleet's vulnerable core. Reed's targeting computer locked onto a Brunali dreadnought's reactor. He squeezed the trigger, watching with grim satisfaction as his shot pierced the vessel's hull. The massive ship split apart in a colossal explosion. All around, similar scenes played out as Earth's defenders struck with fury. Simultaneously, human hackers unleashed a devastating virus into Brunali networks. Alien warships drifted powerless, easy prey for human gunners. The battle raged for hours, but its outcome was never in doubt. One by one, Brunali ships fell from the sky, streaking through the atmosphere as brilliant shooting stars. On the ground, cheering crowds watched the alien armada's death throes. As dawn broke over a liberated Earth, Andrew Reed allowed himself a moment of hope. The Brunali invasion was broken, their survivors trapped and demoralized. For the first time since the aliens arrived, humanity held the upper hand. The war wasn't over, but its end was finally in sight. The acrid stench of burnt ozone and scorched earth filled Andrew Reed's nostrils as he surveyed the smoldering ruins of what was once a thriving metropolis. Jagged shards of glass and twisted metal jutted from crumbling concrete skeletons, silent testaments to the brutality of the Brunali invasion. Reed's bones ached with each step, a constant reminder of the grueling battles he'd endured. In a makeshift interrogation room housed within the bowels of an underground bunker, Reed faced his nemesis. Commander Ceres sat bound to a chair, his once proud posture now slumped in defeat. Reed leaned in close, his voice a low growl. "You've lost, Ceres. Tell us what we need to know, and maybe you'll see the inside of a cell instead of an airlock." For days, the alien commander remained defiant, spitting curses in his native tongue. But as the hours ticked by, Ceres' tenacity began to crack. Reed watched the alien's eyes dart nervously, sensing a critical piece of information just beyond his grasp. Finally, Ceres broke. "You understand nothing, human. This invasion force? A mere fraction of our true might. The Brunali Empire spans galaxies. Our defeat here would halt centuries of expansion." Reed's blood ran cold as Ceres revealed the existence of a Brunali superweapon hidden within the ruins of a nearby city. Its activation would render Earth uninhabitable, guaranteeing the aliens a Pyrrhic victory, even in defeat. Without hesitation, Reed assembled an elite strike team. They moved swiftly through the war-torn landscape, dodging Brunali patrols and navigating treacherous terrain. The ruins of the city loomed before them, a maze of shattered buildings and debris-choked streets. Suddenly, plasma bolts sizzled past Reed's head. "Contact front!" he shouted, diving for cover behind a burnt-out vehicle. His team returned fire, their weapons chattering in the eerie stillness of the dead city. They fought block by block, street by street, inching closer to the hidden Brunali base. Reed's second-in-command, Sarah Chen, crouched beside him as they caught their breath in the shelter of a collapsed storefront. "We're running out of time, sir," Chen panted, checking her ammo. Reed nodded grimly. "We find that weapon, or there won't be an Earth left to save." They pressed on, finally locating the entrance to an underground complex. As they descended into its depths, the air grew thick with tension. In a cavernous chamber they found it, a pulsing orb of otherworldly energy, surrounded by frantic Brunali technicians. "Disable that thing," Reed roared, opening fire on the alien soldiers guarding the device. Chen sprinted toward the weapons control panel, her fingers flying over alien symbols. Brunali troops poured into the chamber, their energy weapons filling the air with deadly light. "I need more time," Chen shouted over the din of battle. Reed saw the look in her eyes and knew what had to be done. With a nod of understanding between them, Chen pulled a grenade from her vest. "It's been an honor, sir," she said, then charged the Brunali line. The explosion rocked the chamber, buying Reed the precious seconds he needed. He jammed his combat knife into the weapon's core, twisting with all his might. A blinding flash engulfed him as the device imploded. Days later, rescue workers pulled Reed's battered body from the rubble. As he struggled to focus, a familiar silhouette caught his eye. Ceres' shuttle streaking into the sky, the Brunali commander making his escape amidst the chaos. Reed's fists clenched as he watched the ship vanish into the atmosphere. The immediate threat had passed, but he knew this was just the beginning. Humanity had won the battle for Earth, but the war against the Brunali Empire had only just begun.
You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.